Hello everybody. Welcome back to Financial Trading Basics. Today, as you can see, we are back on the markets. I don't know if this video will be uploaded, but on the same day, it is Tuesday, September 23rd, currently 12:43. As you can see, my trading terminal is on your screen. I just wanted to talk to you a little through my American Eagle trade that I'm still holding that we've been discussing this series recently, as well as just some more overall. I just wrote down some questions as to what I posed to myself, to what I'm looking for in the market, just different considerations to be a trader. Again, this series is meant to be, I've managed a small account that I've appreciated. My lifetime returns are about 10,000%, and I'm just documenting my trading journey. But like we said, again, this over here, if you're looking at the screen, this was the Fed announcement of the interest rate cut, which I would like to start off by saying, what the fuck? And what I mean is, literally yesterday, I'm watching CNBC, as you can see on my screen. I have that shut off because obviously I don't want to get broadcasting copyrights. But Scott Wapner's on there at the halftime report, and he goes, the Fed cuts rates by 0.25%, which they sometimes say basis points, which makes no sense whatsoever. All right, you have a basis, it moves, and that percentage move is of the basis. The basis doesn't change. We've covered that extensively in math class. But point being is he gets on there and he goes, the Fed cut interest rates and the interest rates went up. And so directly right there, that makes no sense at all, period, no. And so obviously it's something semantic, they're using a word incorrectly. But right, if you have a loan, if I lend you $1, whoever is watching this, and you have to pay me back $1.10, the base is $1, the 10 cents is the interest. So if I cut interest, the amount of money you have to return to me is set by me, right? If I'm the Federal Reserve and I'm loaning out money to a company or to an individual, whether through a mortgage or through a small business loan or through a big business loan or whatever, but a loan, the interest rate is set by the person giving you the money. So then the entirety of that control of who sets the interest rate is the leasee, the person, or the leaseor, the person giving out the loan. And so if I say you owe me 10%, and then I just say, where does that 10% come from? Well, it'd be my own. I just think my money's worth, if I'm going to give it to you, that's what I want in return. It doesn't have to be, there's no definitiveness to it. But the interest rate, how much interest you get, is set by the person giving the money. So if the Federal Reserve decides to cut rates and the interest rates don't go down, what are you talking about? What are you guys even talking about? And so the conversation on CNBC or anybody you would see in these financial markets, if you watch American broadcasting, the conversation isn't developed enough to the point where they'll say they're cutting interest rates and then the interest rates don't go down. You're missing something. Just simply as a consumer watching your show, you guys aren't making any sense. Because the interest rate is controlled by the person who gives out the loan. And so that was just something that's just struck me. I was just, what are you guys even talking about? Regardless, back to this trade. We're at an extended, all the indices are closing at all-time highs, or at least most of them. So we have our interest rate announcement. We get this kind of little pop. Get American Eagle. We had that big appreciation beginning of September 4th. I think from whether it's from a trading perspective for your own psychology or from a regulatory perspective, that again, any sort of a trade is executed or is completed upon realization. A lot of people will say, you have to count your unrealized gains, or should we tax unrealized gains? Absolutely do not do that. Again, most things are neutral. Most things don't really matter. Do not do any sort of calculation, taxation, personal psychology, personal finance off unrealized gains. Don't do it. Doesn't make any sense. But point being is my own trade, right? We had that initial $300 loss. We entered right in about here, this fourth day. The trend continued up. We got stopped out around here. And then so once I stopped out on that initial loss, that's a complete trade. My psychology resets. It's obviously the same security, same price action, same trade thesis, but the trade is complete. So like on this trade right now, the second attempt at American Eagle, we're sitting up, it says 152 since the open. This one has been showing like the trade, the $300 loss from last time. So overall, it shows me up about $200. So that means on this leg of the trade, I'm up about $700. But again, like I said, I don't do that. I don't like this. I like it just trade by trade. When I open and when I close, that is when my accounting, my psychology, my accounting, all of that stuff makes sense, is upon the realization, the closure of a trade. And so, point being, we got stopped out, still have the exact same thesis, looking for a better re-entry. We have this pop right here. Again, my thesis for the interest rates was 1, you guys don't even know what you're talking about. 2, there's too many cross currents where it's not going to be that big of a deal. So the anticipation is what I was playing against, right? We have this big buildup. You're at a bar, you get really tense, and you're going to fight somebody, and then you fight the guy, and then after a couple blows, you're like, all right, dude, let's just both chill out and just get a beer. So that's what I kind of viewed the market as. It's like everyone's really tense, and then it's going to have some sort of retracement just because you get over this event of you're doing something, that being the interest rates. Didn't really do much for the market overall. Again, the interest rates went up when you cut them, which doesn't make any sense. Not in terms of the movement, but just like the logic of what you're saying. I'm sure it's just something small and semantic, but when you say that, it's just like, what in the fuck? Regardless, we get that big drop off. Again, we have the psychological resistance of a whole number 20, specifically to American Eagle. If you go back, you see the last time that it traded into the 20s, it had a big... It rejected the 20 after initially touching it. You see right here, last time it trades into the 20 over here on 11/13/2023. So it has a week it trades above. Does it close above 20? It does not. It trades above 20, does not close, and then this next week it has a big rejection while still in an uptrend. So that is our small win case if we just get that breather. Like I said, if this market turns, we have American Eagle trading like absolute garbage, with a backdrop of a market trading extremely strongly. Not a big growth stock, not going to revolutionize healthcare or something. Sure, it might stay in business for a while, probably will. But trading between $10 and $20, you get this big appreciation, rejects the 20, have a big sell-off, minus 5% days 2 times in a row. So currently, again, sitting up about $200, but more so to the percentage, up about 7 to 10%, depending on where the price is, because the market is currently open. But point being is we've had this good move below our exponential moving average. Again, all of these things are just trailing. They don't really mean anything. You're just trying to be in the right place at the right time. Most momentum moves have most of the appreciation within 3 days. After the 3 days, it's either consolidation or reversal, typically. Again, all of these things are super, super typically, not definitive. So we had a big slap down close below 18 yesterday. We're sitting right here at these lower 18s after 4 days of closing down. So I'm looking for a consolidation. As you can see, I wanted to add more. Like I said, I wanted to get up to about 1,000 shares, but I only added about 50 and then 15 this morning. But I'm looking for this consolidation. Today's Tuesday, so probably into Wednesday. Probably add big end of Wednesday or into Thursday and try to catch this. Because if we break and close below this appreciation from the September 4th, it's just a free fall for the gap fill. And so overall, my perspective is to manage this trade. Again, it's not big money. It's just I just want to show you executing good trades, because the percentage doesn't matter. And the percentage in your lot size and how much money you can make or want to make is all dependent on your risk tolerance. But we're just trying to execute good trades and maximize. 10% in 2 trading sessions is good, and especially it's not something. One of those 3 guys in a shed that happened to get a public company that got a meme that went crazy on Reddit for 5 minutes. And so, if you're scraping 10+% on a 2 trading sessions, you're doing pretty good. But we're looking for a lot more. The trade is definitely potential there. Obviously, it could reverse. But if this market turns, which, again, even if it doesn't break the uptrend, like the S&P, the Dow Jones, the Russell 2000, whatever, we can still get that relief. If we still catch that relief of 1 to 2 weeks, back into this 15, 16 range, still, looking at 20, 30% profit. If we do, the market turns and there's the next earnings for American Eagle, I looked it up, is tentatively in December. And obviously your financial calendar, the first 3 months of the year is the first quarter, second 3 months is the second quarter, so on and so forth. But point being, we closed below that 20 level. Looks like we were rejected as of now. Could reverse. I expect it much more likely to continue to the downtrend. We're sitting up a nice little decent lot size. Again, $265. Again, if you're making another $500 a week or $1,000 a week on a small account, that's still sizable. But a close here, and then because now we're looking to add below, like once if this confirms to the downside, right? We're not trying to guess the top, or if we go back to the intraday charts. And at this point, I'm assuming you have a decent understanding of the charts you're looking at. But right, so back here into this appreciation, let's see if we can get 5-day, let's do 10-day. And so, right, see these appreciations, they're going above the volume weighted average price and above the exponential moving averages, or adaptive, whatever that means again. But point being is you're fighting an uptrend. And now this could be consolidation or it could be a fake out, but if it confirms to a downtrend, and technically I don't look for any confirmation, I just watch the markets all of the time. But point being, this looks like it's going to dump right here even a little bit. But it's really weak. Any close below 1850, certainly a close below 19 is all bearish for me. Meaning to hold the position, stay in the trade. But then if we get, so let's say if we close between 18 and 1850 right now today, I would take that as a weak sign, and I would look to short additionally stronger tomorrow on the open, because again, you typically get a blowout candle. The first 3 minutes are going to go up and down real fast, and then the initial trend typically happens from 9:30 to 10:15. And so with a stock that had a big appreciation, might be going to the downtrend, those initial pops, if it confirms to the downside, is when you want to short. And because remember, our price was weighted up here almost to 20, so we have a good leeway. And I want to keep my risk right around the 19 to 20 range. Because if it breaks and closes above 20, it could easily go to the 26 range. This is specific to American Eagle, but it could continue the uptrend with no problem. The market stays strong, but again, with such a strong market and such a weak individual stock, one turn from the market overall and this thing's going down. And so looking, hopefully, we're sitting up about 7 to 10% right now. Probably closer to 7. But looking ideally for our minimum case 15 to 20%, maximum case 50 to 80%. And the lot size, it will just depend, because like I said, it doesn't. If I make 10 grand, if I make $10, it doesn't really make a difference to me in my lifestyle or whatever I'm going to do. So I wanted to cover this as well with other things, but the market conversations are so big. I mean, that's why you can come on CNBC, and there's always something to talk about, because there's so many things going on. And finance is one of the things I really like to talk about as well, but if I'm not actively trading, I just don't have anything to say. So again, just trying to generate trading theses from just sitting here watching the market, listening to all the conversations and thinking, where is the discrepancy? But that is how I'm managing American Eagle. We're still holding strong here. It's developed pretty well because, again, even if you just follow this first leg of the trade, from this 20, and my price average got pulled down a little bit from adding today in the other 65 shares. So even if you just caught this first leg, you're looking at realizing 10% gains down here in yesterday's trading session the entire day. So this trade's been managing, going well. First time on here we've had an extended managed profit, I think, besides the Bitcoin, obviously, where I made a lot. I don't even think I started this series till after that happened. And so that's what we're doing with American Eagle. I'll be making another video here, maybe today, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I just do so much video content. But keeping it moving. We'll see how this ends up here. Looking to, because again, if this closes, like I said, that 18 to 1850, anything below 19 on a pop tomorrow, even the initial 3 minutes of tomorrow's open or into that 10:15 in the morning, we'll be looking to short more. I'll be watching the price action today because I might, if it closes up strong, I might even wait until to short more on Thursday open, because again, now we're playing the short-term momentum, 4 down days. Even in a downtrend, even if it reverses to a downtrend, it's still going to have relief days on the upside. So again, looking right around that 19 level, and then if it slams down after that 19, probably go pretty big. But with that being said, I'm still bullish on the overall market. For my time frames, I'm looking for swing trades. Again, swing investing, day trade means nothing. You have entries and exits. But I'm looking for a retracement on the market overall to go long on bigger position sizes. I'm just not going to add with the markets at these levels right now. So I'm just kind of waiting, having some little fun with this trade, and then looking for things that I think have a much more appreciative potential over the next 3, 6, 12, 18, 24 months that I just don't want to buy right now. What sectors are those? I'm not sure, but I'll do an analysis video where I'm just breaking down the questions that I'm asking myself to look for, and then I write down anything that jumps out at me, such as the interest rates not going down if they cut them. That just doesn't make any sense. And then like the Tylenol is a big thing. But that's even a point that I would cover in my language litigation integration, because it has policy and science in it as well. And I think I will do that. So I'll probably do that stuff again, but running the news cycle is so easy. I'd rather, and again, at this point when I'm doing in the heat or the climax of my mathematical, because like I said, there's only certain times I can do so much mathematics. Well, actually, that's not true, but so much mathematics with so much poignancy. Because like I said, I have to build the context to be able to do all of these proofs, 5 proofs in a day, 10 proofs in a day, all of which are fundamental. And so we'll probably get back again. This stuff just cycles. But that is how I'm managing American Eagle. This is going pretty well. And hopefully we can show you management if we catch this gap fill. So thank you for watching. Subscribe and like if you got anything out of this, but I'm sure no one's going to be watching to this point besides the people that already know who I am. Fuck you guys, by the way. But that's that, and I'll see you on the next one.